What's up, guys? In an effort to catch up with some of the comments a little faster, I have decided to provide a video reply to some of you guys' comments since I want to leave a good response, but I feel like it's a little too much that I may want to say to some of them, and some of them are long to read. My phone doesn't make it easy for me to go back and forth typing things out, so I just thought, I'll just vid reply. So if I leave you a comment saying something like, congrats, I have chosen this comment for a video reply or something like that, that's where that came from. Okay, so my message is going to look like, congrats, chose this comment to leave a video reply on my upcoming vid. Don't think I am spamming you. That legit came from me. So in an effort to not make it look like a spam or something, I'm not sure if YouTube would crack down on that. I'm gonna modify it ever so slightly for every person I respond to. To my the birthday vlog and random plastic surgery thought video 3 weeks ago, the Linux Yes told me, true that as you get older, everyone else seems younger and more childish in behavior. Eat real food, minimize processed food, get enough sleep, exercise, and avoid drugs in general. So far, the one that I'm struggling with in that regard is processed food, because I gotta admit, I've been cheating on some days, some weeks even, and I have had to recur to a grab and go style of eating, and trust me, I'm not proud of that. If only I got shorter shifts like I used to, because I used to be out from work in some cases by 12, by 1, 2 was the worst, but nowadays I get off between 3 and 3:30. By the time I get home, it's already 4, and if I have to do any shopping, it's game over. And if you wonder where the rest of my time goes to, it's because at between 5 and 5:30 I go to the gym, and the gym takes me a while because I do a religious 1 hour of cardio. My shower takes me anywhere between half an hour to 40 minutes in some cases if I have to do something with this. And then skin treatments, which I haven't gone over this, but I'm having the worst rash. I even have it on my back. I have it in some areas of my leg. And if you guys see me doing this a lot, is because I have it there too. And trust me, I've been trying to avoid scratching, but I just can't help it, man. I feel like I get enough sleep, because even though I get little, 5-ish hours, 5.5, 6, in the best of cases with interruptions, I don't feel like I'm having trouble focusing, feeling motivated, or moving, anything like that. Exercising, I get it done more often than not. Like, I tend to shoot for all 7 days, do some kind of exercising, whether it be cardio. At the very least, I'll get my hour in, even if my performance with lifting has been on the decline. But no matter what happens, I don't have a week in which I'm completely sedentary. That's been the case since 2015. During lockdown, you guys remember how I started gaining weight very obviously. I never checked to see if my gym at my apartment complex was accessible at the time, because honestly, it was something that I never really knew how to access. And I'm that person who, man, I would rather miss out on an amenity than deal with the freaking office. The environment was never inviting for me. And I know that for a while it had closed because of vandalism. At the very least, I started going outside some evenings and doing some laps around the parking lot that's really close by. But that was a very frustrating time, because as much as I hate the gym, I hate the environment, I hate the noise, I hate the crowds, I just hate it, hate it, hate it. I was grateful for what I was achieving with my body, even if I wasn't getting stronger, because I genuinely don't know how to work out in a way that means I'll be gaining something. At least I was happy that I could maintain my body shape and I wasn't gaining weight. But it really taught me that if I just miss out on 1 month of exercising. The consequences are just crazy to me. And I tried lifting from home and I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't feeling motivated. Avoiding drugs in general, except back in the day when I used to take medicine for like allergies or asthma or the flu, the cold, whatever. I don't take anything. And when it comes to other kinds of drugs, I've never done any of the crazy stuff out there. I've never even smoked. Why would I? If when I was little, in school, I was taught that smoking is bad and doesn't have any real benefits, that drugs, such as those hard ones, anyway, those things, is out there. And I have been taught what they do and why you shouldn't do them. I guess nicotine as an addictive property, we can throw that into the mix too. Why would I? Why would I do that? That's so stupid. It's like you warning me, hey, don't jump into a fire pit because fire pits are gonna burn you. And then I go like, fuck you. I'm going to jump into a pit. That kind of behavior, I just can't. I can say that I have avoided all the drugs and I will continue to. I don't mean to be offensive to anybody out there who may have their reasons for doing it, but people who do, they tend to not smell very nice. Caffeine, same thing. I never abuse it. I explained that on one of my videos recently. Has its negative effects that can hurt your health over time. Some people who do a lot of caffeine have confessed to me that they have observed that when they abuse caffeine, they tend to have really bad anxiety and they tend to be uneasy about things. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's a central nervous system stimulant that's completely unregulated for some reason. And you're using this every day and depending on it so much, it's bound to do something to you. But I just wonder why people fall for that in the first place. Why is it that you have trouble having energy naturally? Is there something that you're mismanaging? Is there something that you ought to be doing? Is it a genetic thing? Because I'm telling you guys, I'm never dead tired. I can't tell you how I do it. I've never been like that. When I was a kid, maybe a whole day being away, like on a field day or something, it could leave me a little winded, you know? But it's not like I was just blackout tired forever. There are people who I just know who are in a continuous state of being tired. Maybe it's because of some of the decisions that I make. I don't try to overwork myself. I try to have like a healthy mind. I'm like, I gotta have faith that I'll get through whatever it is that I'm getting through. But I feel like some people are giving in to too much fear and anxiety about being idle and not taking time to rest, because instead you feel like you gotta be on the grind continuously to make ends meet and all that. You know what I do when I have trouble making ends meet? I find ways to get rid of an expense. I'm not going to work harder so I can maintain my current lifestyle. That's stupid. But fortunately, that's not really something I have to do in the first place, because it's not like I have any subscriptions or I have any additional bills. My bills are simply phone, rent, car insurance, utilities, and the general things that I need, such as gas and car maintenance occasionally. Make your adjustments. But I feel like people are like, oh man, bills are going up and groceries are going up and this and that. That means I have to work more, I have to work harder, or I have to invest more and all this. Like, just stop. You don't need as many things as you think you do. Like for me, YouTube, fortunately, it's free. So if I'm really itching for entertainment, I can find some good stuff on here. I cannot justify having a subscription. I think people just need to recognize what is draining their finances. Easier said than done, as I have been addicted to caffeine for a long time, only in the morning though, otherwise my quality of sleep is affected. My mom is the same way. She isn't necessarily addicted to it. She can go without drinking her coffee, but she has made it a habit forever to have her little cup in the mornings. But I think on the weekends she doesn't. It's only on the weekdays. And then I'm like, well, Ma, would you say that you're passively addicted instead if you gotta have it every morning? And she's like, no, because I can just skip it completely and And I honestly like to drink it just as a little bit of a boost. It's not like she'll have an insane amount of it either. It might be like just one little cup and that's it. But there's people who are like continuously refilling, 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 refilling. How do you do that? Do you feel good? Do you honestly feel well after all that? Because me talking about it, I don't feel really good. But anyways, like, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I know this sounds judgmental. I'm just saying that it is possible to exist without needing that. And I wish I could tell you what I do, but I have been this way my entire life. So could it be a genetic thing? I don't think it's a genetic thing because everybody else in my family drinks coffee. My brother, I don't know about my dad, but my grandfather definitely drank coffee like hell. And everyone else I know, but me personally, I'm grateful that I find it nasty. Coffee doesn't have to be the only source of caffeine these days. When I first started working out, someone was feeding me that, what was it called? Creatine or something. And I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's just to get you fired up for the workout. And then at some point I said, I don't need it. I'm not tired. I don't need a boost. I don't know what this does. First of all, I didn't like the taste, and I also didn't like how it was artificially increasing my heart rate when I could achieve that normally. I just said, you know what, I think I'll exercise without this. And then the only thing I would do was protein drinks, and then I have been off those for a while. And now I will eventually start drinking them maybe once or twice a week to kind of supplement myself. Outside of that, is really difficult for me to get hooked on something. Just, I'm over it. Once I say I'm over it, I'm over it. In general, the more hands food goes through, the worse it is for you. Also, they say having meaningful social interactions is important for health, but I find that I'm usually happiest alone in the garden of my mind. Oh my god, same. I will never understand the people who have to acknowledge thousands of people in their day. I'm like, you're not deeply close with any of these people. And on top of that, there are some of these people who, even if you have known them for some time, they could get offended by you trying to get too deep with them about something. I always have been of the belief that if someone has trouble discussing real, productive, deep stuff, I think those people have maturity issues. And to better explain that, I have encountered people who, when you get on those topics, they're like, I don't want anything to be too serious, too stressful, too complicated. I just want to hang out on the surface. Nothing needs to go deep because deep stuff just stresses me out. And I'm like, that's why intellectually you're lagging behind on some stuff. And I'm not trying to say that the people who think deep and talk deeply are inherently better. But what I'm saying is that these folks tend to have attitude issues. Those attitude issues, if you ask me, they come from you not doing a lot of self reflecting. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you have to be out there in your day acknowledging thousands of people and having small talk that is about nothing is because you need to escape from your own self. You're escaping from your home. You're escaping from your responsibilities to a certain extent. And I think that it also doesn't help that in this society we value entertainment so much. And I think entertainment is to do that, to keep you distracted, to keep you away from getting your life together. I think that occasionally engaging with someone who's not a close friend can be good, but I like to do that on impulse. And when I have done that on impulse, it turns out that this person happened to be telling me the right thing at the right time for me to find out about something that I needed or need to indulge in, and it'll resolve something for me or it'll inspire me with something. And I'm like, okay, this is an example of a productive conversation. But honestly, being by yourself is awesome. I love being by myself. There are times in which, straight after work, I need silence. I need to be in my mind, in my thoughts. I need to restructure myself, restructure my day, and go over things and just, I call it management. I act like I'm a manager. That's what it is. Your personal life does require management. I feel like there are people who are in a continuous state of escaping their personal management. And when you try to tell them something about it, they get offended. And I'm like, only someone who's immature would get offended by this. Because I have met people who have been like, I am so grateful that I have you around to help me straighten some things out because you're very methodical and you're very organized, blah, blah, blah. You gotta have your clowns, you gotta have your people who don't play. If you want someone who doesn't play, I'm your person. If you're looking for a permanent year-round clown, I am not that person. I can be that person you can have fun with, but I like to take care of business first, and then I can consider having my fun. Look at it as childhood. In my childhood, I wanted to play games first and maybe do my homework afterward. But mom turned that around for me and she said, homework first, entertainment afterward. To this day, that's still how I manifest, and that's why, unfortunately, sometimes I may need to bail from you guys, and I look at the channel as productive for me, but also it can be a form of entertainment. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are funny. I love hanging out here. But see, look at me, Raj. You gotta be able to recognize that this is invading areas of your life that they shouldn't be, and just take care of yourself, because I think that social interactions are draining. But even for the people who are out there, for the people who are very extroverted and social, maybe that's where your energy is going to, and it ultimately is doing nothing meaningful for you. But then for the aspects of your life that you need to be present for, and it's meaningful for you, you get defensive and offensive, and you look at it as, oh my god, I'm being controlled or something. If someone brings up the fact that maybe you're wasting too much time with clowns or on stupid things, organize yourself better. I have dealt with that person, with the person who, because I see them through external eyes and I point it out, they look at it as I'm trying to be like a boss or something. And I'm like, life does require management. The only time I get like that is if I see that something is changing and affecting something in a negative way. Just thank the person who has the guts to say that to you. But if you get offended, then that's an opportunity for you to do some growth. Most of the cosmetic stuff is to cover up imperfections in the mind. Someone is convinced that some part of their body is imperfect, so they want to make it right. It's all in the head. They don't realize that it's the imperfections we have that make us unique. That and asymmetry too. That's how I like to look at it. I'm like, why would I want my face to be just perfectly symmetrical? That's the whole reason this doesn't bother me. I could have been that person who's like, I need to get a tattoo or I need to get it fixed somehow, whatever. I have never in my life considered doing something to this. Am I curious about what I am supposed to have looked like without that? Sure. I mean, hell yeah. But then there's the part of me that the times that I have put makeup over it, I'm like, that's not me. And because I got this when I was like 4 or 5, I have been alive with it for much longer than without it. So I honestly don't remember what my face was like originally without it. But yeah, it's just I just cannot imagine a life in which I'm obsessing over that. I used to pluck the gray hairs that I saw coming out, but now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna leave them there because that's signifying that I'm entering a new season in my life. And gray hairs can have their advantage. So why not? And as you guys can probably imagine, can't remember if I made an official video about this like 5 years ago, because this is when I would have been talking about this. My biggest complex was always my hair, because the first time that I saw myself with straight hair, that was it. I was screwed for life. I was like 7 or 8. And I'm like, wow, that's me. That's what I look like. And I thought I inherently looked better with the straight hair. And occasionally I'll indulge in it. I'll be like, sure, I'll go for that look, whatever. But when I have my hair straight, it doesn't last very long. After the first or second day, I'm ready to wash it. And now that I tend to need to wash my hair a little more on the daily basis since I sweat so much and everything, then why would I be like, I can't wash my hair right now because I just straighten my hair and it takes me an hour and 10 minutes to do this and I just can't be doing this? Or maybe there's people who are continuously like, even though this is very time consuming, my cosmetic rituals are very time consuming, I'm still gonna make them a part of my day. And I'm like, there's a difference between cosmetic rituals and skincare rituals. I have my skincare rituals, but imagine if I had my skincare rituals with the cosmetic demands involved. How much would it take me to get ready? 3 hours? To just go out and get some gas or something, or pick up some dinner? No, I can't justify that. So yeah, there's that part of me that maybe that's why I'm never tired. I'm not tired because I don't spend time doing things that just don't bring me genuine joy. It doesn't do me any good, you know? And I'm perfectly comfortable living in my skin, even with its irritations. There's nothing out there that makes me feel like I have a complex about my body anymore. I guess when I begin to truly display signs of aging, some things may begin to shock me a little bit. Like, I have observed that shit's gonna happen to you, but you cannot let that be the thing that defines you. The big sale is on to make yourself perfect. Right. I have always said that the whole reason things like makeup and stuff exist and they're overconsumed, it's because someone is capitalizing of literally telling you that you're ugly and there's something wrong with you if you don't use my product. They're trying to sell you a miracle. I think that makeup originally was supposed to be you embodying a different character with a specific purpose. Like, let it be for a ceremony or for a ritual, or maybe a once or twice a year type of thing, or maybe you're an actor and you need to modify yourself a little bit to portray yourself. I think those uses of makeup are fine, but people have now become addicted to it, dependent on it, that if you see something on your face that bothers you, you gotta modify it, because if you don't, you're not happy with it. And the sad thing is that a lot of the times when you put makeup on yourself to fix something about yourself, people may not even notice that there's something about yourself that you're fixing or wanting to fix. But I guess that some people really are raised to be weak. They're not taught to have their guard up about dumb things that people say that may hurt your soul. When I was a kid, for example, one of the things that mom insisted on was, when you go to school, you're gonna see people doing this, people are gonna fight, people are gonna argue, people are gonna do drugs, people are gonna say things to you that are mean, people are gonna call you ugly, people are gonna say this and that and the other. You focus on what you went there for, which is to obtain information, understand the lesson, ask questions, do your homework, and that's it. Focus on that. So now, as an adult, I still display that behavior, that character, that personality. It's something like, this is what I have room for, this is what I have time for, and that's it. I walk away. As an adult, I'm still the same way. I haven't really had fun as a adult all this time, honestly, because I just don't think with that mindset. And I never had it to begin with. I wasn't that popular kid in school with a rain of friends and doing shit with friends. That's just not what I did, because it wasn't my season for that. And I don't think that season will ever arrive for me. Because of that, I'm grateful for what I have been able to achieve without those things. I'm not influenced into things that I don't care about, and I don't have the fear of missing out on things because I don't have people or connections telling me about things. If I get to it, I got to it. If I don't, then I don't. But as soon as someone makes you aware of something, I feel like that is a worry that is created. And I think that one of the things that annoys me is, why on God's green earth would I want to look like someone else? If I was not born fully white, I cannot attempt to modify myself to look fully white if that's not what my body is out there producing. If I was not born completely black, why would I try to take some of my traits and amplify them so that I conform more to being black? I am a blend, a mix of many things. So those mixes produce this. Why would I attempt to pick a side to amplify more? That's stupid. It's stupid, and I think it's unfortunately a mental illness. No matter how bad that sounds, how severe that is, I don't care. I'm just glad that that's not a problem that I have. I'm not waking up every day maybe 2 hours early being like, this is what I gotta do to my hair, this is what I gotta do to my face. Like, do you guys notice that my hair may look like shit sometimes? Like, it's all messy, it has flyaways, it looks dry, the dandruff that I have and shit, it may show. Like, I never prepare before I start recording a video. The most I might do is be like, okay, this little piece of hair, let me push it here to make sure it doesn't get into my eye or something. And sometimes you guys will see jump cuts where my hand is either going up or my hand is coming down or something. Is because there's that hair that's threatening to go into my eye, and I want to avoid that. Because sometimes, because I have hair, see how short that is? This short hair, because it's curly, sometimes it'll coil up in a way that it slides under my glasses as I'm moving my head, and that mess gets uncomfortable. See that? So I have to like slide it off to make sure it doesn't get into my lens and brushes against my eye, because next thing I know I'll be like, irritated like that. But yeah, this, it doesn't bother me. Like, if it bothers you, that's a problem with you. That's an issue about you, not me. Even if you were to tell me all the time, Zam, you need to, I don't know, wear dresses instead, or wear your tiara instead, or wear headbands instead. No amount of you telling me to do something is going to make me do it if I don't feel like it. Because I'm never going to give you power over me. It is a degree of a privilege for you to be able to maybe influence someone into doing something that I think is deserving of respect on its own. It should be an honor. It's like, oh, this person made a decision based on something I said and it went well for them. Good. But then the opposite can be true. Oh man, I gave this person advice and they decided to listen to me and it didn't turn out so well. Well, it was their fault because they should have done better or tried better or figured better or not completely taken it too seriously, something like that. No, if I say something to you that ends up being wrong or fucked up, I will apologize. But it'll be very rare that you get that from me, because I will say something if I have thought about it through enough to where I can even consider potential consequences or issues. I bring those up and whatever. I like to do some critical thinking before I say something, because I know how much power I have. So I can honestly say that maybe I have apologized for something I've said once that I can instantly think of. But outside of that, it's like I'm proud of who and what I am. And the reason I've been able to fulfill that is because of the time I have spent with myself, by myself, and now I'm ready to be out there slightly more. But the more I try to be more out there, the more I realize I prefer to be by myself. It's marketing and playing on people's insecurities, and the best part is that plastic surgeons are laughing all the way to the bank. And that's true. And at least I'm grateful that I have occasionally curiously clicked on some surgeons' pages. There have been some that are really nice, and they say things like, just understand that just because that is the look that you're going for, it's not necessarily a look that we can perfectly recreate. And even if we do get it down, you gotta understand that the body is undergoing processes continuously. Like, say, lip filler, that is going to result in scarring inside of your lips, and sometimes the filler can migrate to other places, and then people are gonna try to like pop them and stuff, and some people genuinely end up regretting what they've done. That feeling of regret, if you ask me, it's because at your default, at your natural, at your normal, we knew what to expect, we knew what we had, but then in an effort to enhance it somehow, you ended up butchering it. And now you have a feature that does not belong to you. And that is a very distracting thing to see. The best way I can compare this feeling would be, let's say that you see a car that's really fancy, some kind of Mercedes. Let's say that this car is white and you're examining it from the front, you're examining it from the side, you're examining it from the rear, but then on one of the sides, let's say the left side, you notice that there's a huge dent on the door. What are you going to remember the most about the Mercedes? You're probably going to remember that damage more than the rims, the shape of the grille, the window tint, things like that. So with your face, it's like you knew what you had. Nothing about you just stood out and distracted you too much. Now, the moment that you see something off about yourself, it's like that's all that you can pay attention to. That's all that you can remember. That's all that you can focus on. And because you're too preoccupied on dealing with this, you may neglect the rest of you. And then maybe you're going to start, to give an example, you're going to start gaining weight or losing too much weight or things like that. Something is going to suffer the moment that you fixate your attention on something else. How do you find that balance? So for me, it's like I know how much time I need to set aside for this. I know how much time I need to set aside for this. I know how much time I need to set aside for these. Nothing can upset that. Now, skin irritation, sure, that'll upset my routine a little bit because now I gotta consider using other kinds of products and avoiding others. See, even my ears have a itch. Anyway, make those adjustments. It's temporary and then I can get back to what I'm used to doing. But I feel like there's just people out there accelerating themselves to changing their current state, their current style, but not really figuring out why. And that's where the darkness comes. And that's when I say that I have trouble feeling empathy for when that happens, because I'm like, how could you not see that coming? How could you not think about that? And for me, one of the things that I like to keep most present in my head, in my mind, in my soul is I am under constant attack by people who don't know me, don't know my face, don't know my name, don't know my family. They're trying to take something from me, my money, all to show me things that they feel I might want or I might like. Well, I got bad news for you. I'm not an overconsumer. And my era of overspending on leggings is over. I haven't bought a new pair of leggings since maybe April or so. And after that pair, I said, okay, that's it. This one barely brought me any joy buying it. I'm over it. I'm done. Like I have over 100 pairs now. So now I'm going to start looking at them and being like, if you no longer bring me as much joy as you did, I'm getting rid of you. And I'm hungry. So yes, Linux, yes. Thank you so much for leaving your comment because you got me rambling for over half an hour. And yeah, I like to say that as if I were directly addressing just one person, because this is really how I feel. This is really how I have spoken to people I know in person, and there are people who can vouch for me when it comes to the things that I say. And it's not like you guys are questioning me or have your doubts or I owe you proof or something, but I'm just trying to put it out there that some of the struggles that people have I don't go through, and I want to at least share why. And who knows, maybe you or I can help them with something. Because like I have said before, you guys, to me the point of being alive is to relieve misery. And I feel like at least I have been able to relieve most of mine. And the ones that I'm living with are just part of life. You know, I cannot live completely free of challenges because then what would be the point? I need help. At some point, someone out there is going to be able to do with me what I have done for someone else. I'm meant to. I'm part of this too. This is a world for broken people. Why would I want to be in a world of perfect people talking about how perfect our lives are? I think that the brokenness and imperfection is what keeps the world interesting. But I think what makes it miserable and damaging is when people react poorly to those circumstances. Like, say, when you become violent or a criminal because you are lacking resources, because you're poor or something. Does that need addressing? Yes. Is your reaction justified? No. Because if in an effort to make yourself feel better, you're hurting someone else, we're losing. Now, if you do something that helps you get better and get ahead, but you're not hurting anybody, or you're actually helping others along with you, then that's good. But if you getting somewhere costs someone their lives, or their health, or their mental salubrity, or something like that, then you're losing. Stop. Just stop. And maybe write out your situation a little longer, but at least pull yourself out of it the right way.